Come on, your eyes. Games into the season, 2 points. Just 2 points separates West Ham and Liverpool. I don't think we would have thought we would be saying that yet again for 2 seasons straight. Welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. I hope you are all well. It's match preview, West Ham v Liverpool. I'm joined by an opposition fan. He runs a YouTube channel. So, Jack, give your YouTube channel a plug. And, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you very much for asking me to come on, mate. Absolutely love it, coming on everyone's different channels. But yeah, just Jack Mac LFC, mate, on everything. But yeah, once again, thank you for letting me come on, and can't wait to get stuck into tonight's show.
Definitely, and we are also joined all the way up there nowadays. He's gone well up north. Tom, how are you? Oh, we can't hear you. Oh, is that me?
Oh.
There we go. Oh, no, is that me?
I can't hear nothing at the minute, matey.
No. Oh, technical difficulties. That's what you love. No.
Oh.
I think so. Try again. Go on.
Wait, we try now?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
All good.
Yeah.
Yes, no, up north these days. But yes,
yeah.
Excited to be here and talk about West Ham, of course.
Definitely. Jack, we'll start with you. I mean, how would you rate your season so far? It seems like there's 2 leagues in this league at the moment. There's the Liverpool, Chelsea, and Man City, and then there's the rest of us.
Yeah, no, he was not that far behind, mate. And it's, as we've seen in recent years, top and middle and bottom of the table, we're 10 games in. We don't was under Jürgen, we've always taken 1 game at a time. We've never. That's one thing we've learned as a fan base. Obviously, we've been in certain title runs that everyone knows, and we've not got there in recent years. But yeah, it's positive, mate. Obviously, top of the league and top of our group in the Champions League and the so-called group of death. It's just about juggling the balance, really, mate, in relation to any potential future injuries and keeping everyone fit, most importantly.
Yeah, of course. Of course, that is, your key after last season. Tom, we haven't had a bad start, have we?
No. It's weird, to be honest with you, because obviously, weekends now, it's I texted my dad the other day, and after the Villa game, and it's weird because obviously we're not having the usual weekend moan and groan because West Ham have played like crap, or something bad's happened, or somebody said something inside of the club. So no, at the minute it's. Jared Bowen, I think, said it perfectly this week, which was just the mood around the dressing room at the moment, around the club, just the friendly nature. Everybody wants to come in and work, and we're competing across every single format, every single cup that we're in at the moment, and it's just been, in dreamland really, and it's frustrating. I think when. On Thursday night, we came away and we said, we didn't play as well as we should have done. We should be putting teams like Genk away, who by no easy means, can be a tough side. Any European side, can be tough, especially on the road, as I'm sure Liverpool fans may have lost to lesser opposition in the past in Europe. So, I think the fact that we're coming away from games that we're winning and we're still going, we should have played this much better. We should have done this. And it's good to be nitpicky about that and not about how bad people are performing at the minute, because everybody is just playing out their skin, and it's brilliant to see.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Liverpool thumping Man United, which I think we all smiled at, beating Atletico Madrid, and almost in a way in the same situation, still in all competitions so far, and it's definitely 2 teams on form coming up against each other, which could make it very, very tasty, Jack.
Yeah, most definitely, mate. As you've already alluded to there, lads, it's great to have pre-Klopp, I think that was the most important thing, especially as Tom's alluded to there, coming out of games. That's the switching attitude that you West Ham fans have got now. You'd expect you go into the mentality that the players have already got under the guidance of obviously David Moyes. That's the big switch, something in the players' heads, and that was what Liverpool. It took 30 odd years to win the league title. Took a while, but it was about grind out the results, even if you don't play your best each week, regardless. But as long as you see the players put 110% effort in, mate, it's all you really bought. Like both, obviously, you would be 100%. You would still be unbeaten if Mark put that penalty away when they in the league, which I was gutted about as well. I was like, oh, bloody hell. Don't get me started. I was like, why is he bringing him on? I know he's got a great record at the pen spot, but the fair, it's like England all over again, isn't it?
But to be fair, when you look at it, we'd be unbeaten in, Tom, we'd be unbeaten a good way into November if it wasn't for 2 late jammy goals and just whatever happened at Man United. And that shows how far we're going, and we don't seem to be letting up, to be honest.
No, it's a breath of fresh air. I think when the second appointment of Moyes was announced, I think we were all sort of realistically, is this the direction that the club wants to go in? Pellegrini was the kind of manager that was going to bring that attacking style back to it. But in fact, what we really needed was a manager that was going to be able to reset, to put the running and the legs into the players that we needed, and actually build from the back going forward. He needs his defence to be as good. Moyes loves his defensive. Players, the defensive-minded tactics, and just simple things like for Liverpool. Obviously, I don't feel like I'm in a position to talk about Liverpool, but obviously Liverpool were well renowned for the fact that when Jurgen came in, it was all about that gegenpress, and it was all about changing the mentality of how they pressed without the ball, and it was what they did without the ball. And I think that's very similar to what David Moyes, because if you look, the running stats and the pressing stats that we have in the league this season are among the best that there is, and I think that is largely down to what Moyes has got out of our players. And I think he's got the right players at the right time at the club that have all bought into that mentality of winning. And we're seeing the fruits of Moyes' labour and hard work now. So, yeah, it's just, I don't know how to react most weeks. We go into games and we say we should be winning. But I think Sunday is the litmus test for us. That's really, for me, how far we've come. This is kind of, are we realistically going to mix it with the big boys this season, or is it going to be, can we hold on to try and get back into Europe and into a Champions League place? So I think it's the perfect time to play each other. And it should be, we'll talk it up to be an amazing game, and it will be absolutely crap, and it will be like 1-0 or something like that. But on paper, this Sunday should be probably the best time to play each other, and it should be a big and a good game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Jack, you've got a couple of games which are probably going to set teams like way for the season. You've got Arsenal in a couple of weeks' time, and it's playing these big 3. You'd say that are like right. These teams have had a really good start to the season, but then as Tom said, are we going to mix it with the big boys? Can we stand toe to toe with those guys?
I was going to jump in as well, but also this is a litmus test for Liverpool, because Chelsea have dropped points this weekend, and it's on Liverpool. Can they get back to that promised land of winning the title again? This is the games that, with the injuries that they've got, can they rotate and still end up getting a result against us? Because it means as much to Liverpool as it does to us this weekend.
Yeah, you're spot on there, mate. It was Brighton, obviously, when Crystal Palace got beat. Well, they beat City, sorry, I think it was last week.
Yeah.
And I was at that game, and it was such a flat, arrogant performance. It's very rare that happens with the Jurgen Klopp side. I think we had the players probably took the foot off the gas, and you can't do that in the Premier League, can you? And second half, Brighton with Basuma and obviously the midfielders as well. They absolutely run rings around us, and it was quite scary to actually see a team come to Anfield and do that. It doesn't happen a lot, too many times, but you've got to give a lot of credit to Brighton. And as you mentioned there, boys, you're very well settled, and Liverpool have favourably got a recent decent history at the Olympic Stadium, but this is the test, innit, as you've alluded to. Can you flip the switch, as you said, and really get the win against the big teams? It's consistent levels, whether that's Liverpool, West Ham, anyone that wants to get top of the league in and around top 4. It's about consistent levels of performances. You even look at Arsenal, City, Man United to a certain extent. I think anyone can beat Man United at the minute, even our under 12s. But yeah, no, it's an exciting game, mate, and fingers crossed it can be all guns blazing, really. But it will be a massive test, and it'll be. I'm intrigued to see how your lads do approach the game. Obviously, we know how good Salah has been, but it's a good test for our lads coming up against, especially you bossing it in Europe. You mentioned you played Genk, and I've seen the odd highlights over the last couple of weeks, and it's refreshing to see. And Declan Rice, absolutely love him as a player.
Hands off.
Yeah, but you know, we go into this, and in the past and last year we did it as well. We give these teams way too much respect, Tom, and we hope that David Moyes is past that side of it now, and it's going to be a really good game if we go out all guns blazing and do what we've been doing all season.
Yeah, do you know that was the biggest disappointment for me last year, was we were so on top when we played Liverpool second half of the season, and we were at home. And listen, I understand you give, you know, the better teams the credit and whatnot, but actually we had such a good side that probably could have gone with a Liverpool team that was, you know, had many injuries at the time. We could have probably given them a game, but we didn't. We gave them too much respect. And to be honest with you, I don't think we'll make the same mistake tomorrow. I think, listen, if we come out and we try to play that way and we don't give them the credit and we end up getting thumped 3 or 4-0, fair enough. At least you could say that he tried and he tried something different. But if we come out how we set up last time, I understand Liverpool obviously will have a lot of the ball, but expect to see that press. And can we stop Liverpool from breaking out of that press and hitting us on the break at that point? Because obviously that's going to be the main issue. Cresswell against Salah potentially is a massive issue, and how many times we allow Salah to get in behind and Cresswell, there's going to be some big gaps, which hopefully, you know, especially between Ogbonna and Cresswell down that right-hand side or left-hand side for us is probably the main area. But, you know, I don't think he'll make the same mistake twice, and I think that we will go for it. But it's typical, because every time I used to go to watch London Stadium, I think it was the first 3 times we played Liverpool, and we lost 4-1, 5-0, and something else. And then it was, you know, the other year when we drew 1-1. I think in your title winning season was a decent game. So no, the last couple have been good, but we've got all the confidence in the world that we should be able to go out there and mix it with the big teams. I won't say Man United, because they're just not a big team realistically at the moment. But everybody else we've played against, we've really shown a good mentality. And I don't see us dropping that tomorrow for Liverpool. I think Moyes will be up for 100%.
Yeah, definitely. Going into it then, where's the game going to be won or lost tomorrow, Jack? Is it going to be goals, or can you see a midfield battle? Oh, you're on mute there, I think.
Sorry, not the first sound on that. Yeah, as alluded to, Brighton, it was quite concerning when we did play them at Anfield, especially Declan Rice, Souček as well in the middle. Obviously Pablo Fornals and Benny as well plays left wing for you, and Antonio. They're going to be a threat, and it's how well they, as you mentioned, Tom alluded to, especially down the left-hand side, you need to give Cresswell a lot of support, especially the form Salah's in, probably one of the best players in Europe at the minute on good form. He's everything he does, it just goes in, and it's scary. And obviously everyone remembers that first season he comes to the club, and I think he's going to beat that, which would be mad, as long as he touch wood and stays injury-free. But obviously Bobby Firmino is going to be missing for this game. He's going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks with a muscular injury anyway, so it's going to be that man, Diogo Jota, as we ought to say. And Sadio Mane has regained his form. Obviously, midweek game against Atletico Madrid, we have to take him off because he was getting absolutely volleyed all over the place, because he was just taking he was just taking the piss out of them, and it was my game. But yeah, it's the middle of the park, mate. Obviously, we at the minute probably got about 4 midfielders fully fit. Got Henderson, Curtis Jones has just come back. Don't think he'll feature tomorrow. Thiago's just come back from injury. Fabinho, and obviously Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who does like a goal, but he had a massively improved game against Atletico Madrid. Played shocking in the second half against Brighton, and that coincided with them scoring those 2 goals. So if Ox does play, I think that's very much a weak area that obviously West Ham he's going to look to exploit, especially going. A lot of teams do like to isolate Trent's side, mainly because of how good years going forward, but there's always going to be space where Liverpool's fullbacks, whether that is Costas or whether that's Robbo down the left-hand flank. It's how well you do get Antonio in the channels, Benny, and you're in midfield lot as well. But I'm intrigued, especially is Kurt Zuma going to be fit for you tomorrow, boys?
Yeah, he'll play. Yeah. Which will give Salah, Mane, and Jota something to think about. That's for sure. But Tom, when you hear that midfield that they've almost got, they've got Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Jordan Henderson. I think he's past his sell-by date. Curtis Jones, fantastic young player. Thiago Silva, good player. Doesn't really fear me too much when you look and. Well, I hope we've got Declan Rice and Souček.
Yeah, listen, I respectfully will disagree with you on that one about Henderson, because I do think he is very much an important cog in that Jurgen Klopp side. But saying that, it doesn't really matter. Even if we look on paper, that fair enough, Souček, even though he's not on current form, but Declan Rice probably out of the two teams on current form is the better midfielder of the two teams. But we won't. I don't think we'll see a lot of the ball because. For me, unfortunately, it's not just that midfield battle. It's how Jurgen will set up. It's about how he gets his players in behind. And I think when you're sort of saying where is the danger area tomorrow, it's not just one facet. There's so many different levels to the Liverpool attack. And for me, this season, even though they've been good, Cresswell and Ogbonna, they haven't played the level of opposition like Salah, Mane, etc. And there has been many times where we have been pressing and our fullbacks and centre halves have pushed up, and there has been huge gaps between Ogbonna on the left-hand side and Cresswell. We saw it in the first game against Genk when Ito was kept running in behind, nearly scored off of it in the first game. There's always that danger ball over the top, especially in that left channel, because they've not got the pace to cover against it, and that really worries me. And especially for the fact that they can at times and will push forward and double up, and they will have their centre halves inside our half, and we have to track back. And the thing is, Pablo Fornal's down that left-hand side. People have pointed out he's been responsible for the last 2 goals that we've conceded. So we're going to have to be switched on. It's that momentary lapse in concentration, and all of a sudden Liverpool will make one pass and break you down. So for me, I think tomorrow I'd like to see Bowen potentially playing a little closer to Antonio, trying to, be on the half turn if we end up getting the ball, and we can try and counter attack if Liverpool have pressed, Robbo up a little bit higher and whatnot. Just to cause them problems, because I can see Antonio being very isolated. Yes, he will make it difficult for Virgil or Gomez or Konate, whoever plays, or Matip or whoever, but he may get lost for large portions of the game without that help, especially if we're defending for large parts of it. So I think there is probably a way to beat Liverpool. Brighton probably gave David Moyes a very good blueprint on how to do it the other week.
And Brentford.
Yes, exactly, and Brentford. So, I think it's just about switching on, about just remaining just a 10. I can't even get my words out there, but remaining, focused for 90 minutes, because that one slip and they will play one killer pass, and all of a sudden, the game opens up. And I think for me, it's definitely that left-hand side for Cresswell with his pace, and if we can somehow shut Salah down, because for me right now, other than probably Lewandowski, is the best player on the planet by a country mile. It's not even close, because he's just doing ridiculous things week in, week out at the moment.
Yeah. So would you be tempted? Yeah, I do agree with you. If Cresswell does get exposed, then it's going to be a long afternoon for him. So would you be tempted to give him a rest, considering he's not getting many rests?
No, just because that would mean bringing Arthur Masuaku in, and I won't swear just because it's your show, Jake. But he's just crap. He cannot defend. We saw it against Genk midweek. Yeah. He just there's no interest from him there, unless he's got the ball and he's going forward and he's in attacking positions. He doesn't want to know about it, and that's fair enough. He's a wing back by trait, but if you try and make him defend against the likes of just Trent and Salah going down that right hand side, they're just going to have a field day. So unfortunately, Cresswell's going to have to play again. He probably does need a rest, because he started, I think, pretty much every game for us. And obviously there will be the argument of maybe sticking Ben Johnson over at left back and bringing Soufal maybe in at right back. But for me, I think just the more sensible thing at the moment is just to stick with Cresswell, but tell him that he's on a short leash, that yes, you can go forward, but be smart about when you do it, because if you do go too far forward, the goal is coming from down that side, no question. So, unfortunately, like I said, thankfully the international break's coming up because he does need a rest. But it's going to be a long old 90 minutes for Aaron tomorrow, unfortunately.
Definitely. Let's take some comments quickly before we move on. Wally, I hope Liverpool should be nervous coming up against them. Against the massive Hammers. I like it, Wally. I like it. Pete, I hope you are well. Cyber leader, Ollie in, that is for sure. Ollie is at the wheel. Love the Liverpool fans singing that at United. Love the City fans singing that at United today as well.
I prefer the one about Paul Scholes' toes.
He acted as well, mate, didn't he?
I know, he did.
Tosbu, I hope you are well. So yeah, I got after watching a couple of games this afternoon, I got on here tonight. I think I'm excited for this game because we can go at them. Yes, they're a very good side, and if they score one, the chances are, if they score one early, the chances are that a second and a third might follow. But I've got confidence in that we can hold out to a respectable scoreline at the very least.
What your dad says there as well is really true, and that's the thing I was saying. I remember the other day, and I was talking to Rebecca, and I said, if for me our biggest credentials in Europe was if we do go a goal down in a hostile environment. I know it's only Genk, but these European teams have been known to turn tougher and bigger opposition over because of the atmosphere, because of the occasion and everything else. But I did say, I think other than the Souček own goal, which is a bit of a freak accident on his part, there's nothing we could do. But what was our mettle like if we did go a goal down? And I think David Moyes and the players proved that we can actually come back. Yes, it may have taken putting 3 of our regular starters on the pitch, but all of a sudden it brought a sense of urgency and we didn't let our heads drop. And I think that's key for Liverpool, that if we do go a goal down, can we have that mental resilience to say, do you know what, we're still in the game, it's only 1-0, let's try and get back into it. And I think that is a massive difference as well of what David Moyes has managed to do with these players, is that by going a goal down, it isn't necessarily over. And I think it was interesting, I think I read the stat on Twitter this week, is that we haven't lost by more than 1 goal since we played Liverpool on January the 31st or something like that, which is absolutely ridiculous if you think about it. So clearly after that game, something switched in the players' minds, and hopefully again we can see that again tomorrow.
Yeah, it will certainly make it a difficult afternoon for Liverpool. Sharky's got a question for you, Jack. Is Jota doing a better job up front than Firmino?
They do 2 different jobs, Sharky. It's obviously Bobby got the hat-trick again a couple of weeks ago. It's gutted he's been injured, but yeah, Jota, he's got a tiny bit of shade to being us. He's just a predator in the box. And he took the rest of the Premier League. Everyone went 30 million to sign him, Jota from Wolves. It's just a classic Jurgen Klopp signing, mate. I don't think anyone really seen it. Us fans, most importantly, didn't really see it coming. But yeah, he offers you that something that Liverpool have been missing in recent years, pre him coming into the club. Just someone that's you can't allow.
Firmino's trying to get everybody else involved, really, isn't it? Whereas Jota's more fox in the box, in and around, right place, right time. The thing is, I think that's what worries me, is that the Jarrod Bowen Liverpool rumour last summer, I think, is because Bowen fits that Klopp style of mould, and I know Klopp was speaking very highly of him again this week as well.
He was. Yeah.
And I think it's very similar with what Jota offers that Bowen could offer him as well. So it's please don't take it. Just leave it.
He's a very good player. But it's the thing now. It's what from an outside point of view, I've always watched West Ham, probably one of my favourite London sides down there, down south, and it's your owners. I was fuming as a neutral, like moving away from Upton Park. What a stadium. I know football has developed over the last 10, 15 years, but it's such a historic ground and really selling, especially just in that thing now with Moyes. Getting the manager in, keeping
up here.
With Moyes, hopefully this is the change in tide of really keeping your best players. Because obviously all neutrals know Liverpool for years got poached by the likes of Barca's and the Real Madrid all those years ago. But now we're at a stage at the minute that we're probably at the top of our game, but it's swings and roundabouts really in relation to up and down form, just riding the wave.
Yeah. Come on, talk to me. Mo Salah, what on earth has he been doing this season?
Pull-ups, mate. If you've seen him, he's we moved into the new training complex. He must be on some mad diet. all these footballers, they get all chefs and everything, don't they? No fast food at all for any of them. Sadly, all of us love a good bit of fast food. But yeah, it's weird, mate. He's just a driven, hungry player. It's just refreshing. Obviously, when he come back to the Premier League, everyone was like, he flopped with Chelsea. He didn't really get an opportunity at Chelsea. He's took it upon himself to define everyone, really, and say, no, I'm a decent player. But Jurgen Klopp, that's one of the best things about him. We can talk about Ollie and all the top coaches sign big players for big, large amounts of money. But Jurgen, yet he spent a load of money on Van Dijk and Alisson, but Van Dijk wasn't the player that he is at the minute. Jurgen develops all these players. You're talking about Jared Bowen, Gini Wijnaldum as well, if he was to bring Bowen in. And Andy Robinson, £8 million from Hull, possibly one of the best left backs in the whole of Europe for the last 3-4 years. So it's a great characteristic of Jurgen Klopp, and it's just detriment to Jurgen and obviously the technical staff, and most importantly Mo, his attitude. It's refreshing just to see a player, especially modern day footballers now, they're too arsed about doing TikTok dances and changing rooms after getting beat. I'm not saying any names, but you know what club that is. But yeah, it's send Roy Keane in. It absolutely battered them all. But yeah, it's refreshing, mate. I wish we knew what he is, but it's a factor of a lot of things, mate. And that's the minute. We're wanting to sign a new deal, and we'd love him to retire at the football club, because when you have a special player, regardless of their ability, but it's still pinch myself, mate, because he's probably one of the best forwards I've ever seen in my lifetime. Obviously, I'm only 26, but I grew up with my dad talking about Rush, Dalglish, obviously legendary players as well going down. John Barnes as well, Sadio Mane. But we're living in the era of those legends at the minute, our fan base, and we just got to appreciate the times. I know Twitter is a wild place and you get some mad opinions. And I've probably said some mad opinions on my video. But it's that respect that a lot of Liverpool fans do have, obviously, for West Ham, and I just knew football fans in general anyway. But we know we're very fortunate to have Jurgen and what he's done for the football club. But just fingers crossed we can knock United off the pitch in the next few years.
I think that's the thing, though, is it was literally probably the best thing for Salah's career was Chelsea letting him go, because he would have just sat on that bench and been loaned out and loaned out and loaned out. But it changed him as a player. He came away hungry from it, obviously, when he went to Fiorentina. And I know Mika Richards has spoken about it before when he was over there and said how hungry this guy was every single day to be the best version of himself. And I think Jack said it perfectly there. It's, when you actually look back on it, this is now Premier League winner. This is a Champions League winner for Liverpool. This is icon stuff that Liverpool fans dream of, bringing that title back after such a long time and winning your first Premier League title. They will go down in Liverpool history. And I think he is just on the crest of a wave right now that just does not seem to be coming down. And he just, every time, I thought last season, potentially, even though he had so many goals and last couple of years, so many contributions, he seems to just elevate himself again. Even when you think, can he keep it up? He goes up to another level, and that's what the great players do. And it's shrewd business from Jurgen Klopp, and obviously believing in him to bring him to that level. But as well as you said there, I was gutted when Andy Robertson went to Liverpool, because I'm thinking, what a snip that was. Literally one of the greatest signings probably in recent memory in the Premier League as to what they turned into. And I think that's almost, I feel like, what we've got with Moyes as well, because instead of going and doing what Pellegrini said, okay, here's 45 million for Anderson, here's 30 for Haller, he went to the Championship, and you get a hungry player in Jared Bowen that wants to prove and be successful. And obviously we've seen that with Antonio in recent years, is finding those players that have the hunger to want to be great and let them flourish. And thankfully for I guess us and also Liverpool in recent memory, that has happened.
Yeah,
you're spot on there, mate. It's just a quick one on there, lad. Sorry. Yeah, it was just about, especially in any future signings. I know us fans, football fans in general, love a good big transfer, don't we? But you're spot on there, Tom, in relation to David Moyes. We've seen it over the park at Goodison. Very well structured defensively. And if you can get the odds 20, 25 million pound player, doesn't have to be your glitzy, glamorous player, but it's just about being patient with obviously Moyes. He knows what he's doing, and I think it will be a matter of time when you eventually do get in the top four, because I tell you, there's a massive opportunity this season. I know it take a lot, not just for Liverpool to get top four, but it's a massive year. Obviously, Tottenham getting Conte, but there's a massive gap this year for your lot to come in and really pinch that spot if you continue playing. Obviously, 2-3 points off us last year, so Moyes knows what he's doing.
Yeah. I know we are dreaming, Tom, but Jack is right in a way that fourth place is well up for grabs. Spurs could go on a mad run and do it, but you've got Arsenal who are on the rise again. You've got Man United who might come back into some form. I know we're dreaming, but that fourth place is well up for grabs for any of those teams.
Yeah, it's been achievable for the last 2 years. Leicester have kind of proved it, that they go from strength to strength and their model. And I know they obviously missed out the last couple of seasons, but it's true. If you get a good enough squad structure with the right rotation, you can compete in all the different competitions, and you can compete in Europe and in the Premier League on a Thursday and then on a Sunday. So I do think that we are a striker away in January from actually competing up there and potentially getting the likes of Lingard back in. I think if we were to get 1 or 2 signings like that, I think it is a real possibility for us, because unfortunately, if Antonio does go down, who can we rely on? But again, I would not be spending 25 to 30 million on a marquee striker. Get somebody that is Premier League known, that can put the ball in the back of the net. And for us, I think
Premier League known. Premier League known and who can put it in the back of a net is your backup striker, Jack, that we were linked with in the last couple of transfer windows, Divock Origi.
The Barca legends. If you play Barca every week, he'll be sound. And even Preston in the cup, if you get them in there. Yeah, it's frustrating, Divock, because I know everyone banters him not being the best player, but it's impossible to break in ahead of our forward 3 or forward 4. You'd have to be some player to get ahead of them at the minute. If he had a decent run and form, he's quite pacey. He's got a decent strike on him, and I think he would do if you've got him on loan. It'd do a tremendous job for you, especially it'd do very well in terms of relation, as Tom said. Antonio, have you been resting him in Europe?
If he's played, he's only played like 50, 60 minutes.
Yeah, well, it'd make a great replacement, whether you're coming in or out of the squad. I think if he did leave, and I think we've been saying this every single season, is he going to leave? But he scores goals in Champions League, even against Milan this season. He got a run and he played well, especially that against a great AC Milan side at the minute. But yeah, it's suit used down to the absolute ground, really. He's very more mobile than Antonio, and still he's not the oldest anyway. But if you got him on a loan, that's like the type of player that I think he's as alluded to before.
I was going to say, I think the worst thing we could do is look for a different striker that suits a different system to what we currently got. If we can get as close to Antonio as possible, that can seamlessly fit in and do the job that Antonio does, that can hold the ball up well, that has a bit of size and has a bit of strength, would work out a lot more than having, say, the likes of Allaire or Lucas Perez or Chicharito in recent memory, where it was kind of everybody. They're all different types of strikers trying to fit in one position. So if we can get as close to Antonio as possible, I think for me the biggest one was, I was harping on about him when he was back at Peterborough in the first when he sort of took off a bit in that first year in the Championship. I thought Ivan Toney was just the carbon copy of Antonio, and a better finisher really as well. And I think if Antonio, when he starts to get on a little bit, and I still think he's the one we need to be going after, as a marquee signing potentially. But if we do get that second striker, I think it's a real possibility. But as you said there, I think Arsenal have suddenly woken up and smelt the daylight for some reason. And how long will that go on for? We don't know. And Conte's the one that really worries me, because as much as we, don't like seeing Spurs do well, the fullbacks that he have, and I'm a big Inter Milan fan as well, because obviously I know Jake probably knows my former roommate is Italian, and he was a big Inter Milan, so I watched them week in, week out, especially under Conte, and those fullbacks are tailor-made for that system for him, and they will score a lot of goals, and there will be a lot of space on the pitch that they will start opening up from doing that. We saw what he did with Chelsea. So I think for me right now, it's not to discredit Leicester or Arsenal. I think Spurs is the one we have to watch out for. But Lingard and the striker, and I think all of a sudden, it gives us that reinforcement we need. That if Antonio does go down, we're not all running around panicking that we've not got another striker at the club.
Yeah, I mean, with Mo Salah, he tops the goals and he's second on the assist list so far this season. But Tom, we have got Mikel Antonio, of course, we're talking about there, who's third on the goals list for this season. Do you think that it's going to be difficult after, like you said earlier on, for him that he probably won't get as much service and there won't be as much players close to him because the likes of Fornals and Bowen are going to have to do a lot more defensive work tomorrow?
Yeah, I think that's the thing. The thing is, for me, I don't want to change to a 5 at the back because I think that already admits defeat potentially before the ball's even been kicked.
Yeah.
I would love to put somebody else in the centre of the park to try and, pack the middle maybe as much as possible, or because even though I do love Fornals' defensive work rate and Benrahma's Bowen sometimes can be a little lax in that respect. So I think the only chance we're really going to get going forward is obviously from those counter-attacks. And Benrahma, thankfully, is coming off of a good week. And that, if he's coming through the middle, will be, spell danger for Liverpool. They won't want Benrahma running at him with the ball at pace. And like I said, I think it's about trying to get as close for Jarrod Bowen, as close into Antonio to offer him that support because he will be very isolated, unfortunately. And look, the thing is, there's some weeks we've known like Antonio had an amazing start to the season, but nobody talks about, there has been a couple of games this season where he has ghosted for 90 minutes, maybe due to the lack of service that he's had, but there have been a couple of those games. So I don't think he's because he's not like an out-and-out striker or has been his whole career. He's not like, for instance, say Ronaldo wasn't getting the service, he's going to be throwing his arms up in the air and he's going to be kicking up a fuss. But I think he'll know tomorrow that it will probably be a lot of pressing on his part and not a lot of reward for the effort that he puts in. But I think obviously the counter-attacks probably, and set pieces as well.
Yeah.
Even though people think we're just a one-dimensional team from set pieces, we're not, but can be a big, boost for us that, when we do get set pieces, that we need a Craig Dawson-like performance, like just a leaping salmon through the air and, and nodding one in at the back stick. So.
Oh, you mentioned Craig Dawson, Tom. Oh, you know what's coming now, Tom, surely, don't you?
Maybe,
Tom,
yeah.
do you know what's coming?
I think so.
Yeah, well, he probably won't start tomorrow, but he's getting his weekly appearance, and it is big Craig Dawson.
Where's Yarmolenko's appearance, Jake? I'm surprised you didn't want him starting tomorrow.
Oh, my God. You watched too many of these shows, Tom, honestly. Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, he don't like you, Jack. if that wasn't
Andre Yarmolenko for Salah. No,
we'll
I'm not even going to say anything.
I don't want
I'm
Salah.
not even going to say anything.
Yarmolenko, mate, all day of the week, twice on a Sunday.
Yarmolenko, just no, but Big Craig Dawson, he probably won't start tomorrow, but I fancy a Zuma goal tomorrow. Dad is here. We've got so many people now that can get their nut on it. If you've got Ogbonna, you've got Ogbonna, Zuma, Souček, Antonio. There's just so many players. See, there he is for the members. For the members, well. Super Craigie Dawson, Super Craigie Dawson emoji, exclusive member emoji there, Sharky. That's the best one to use. If you use that on a regular basis, you're the best. Anyway, Jack, do you think that Mikel Antonio, if he gets the service and doesn't get too isolated, will pose a different threat to Liverpool's defence tomorrow?
Mute, mate. Don't worry.
Oh,
quick mute.
Oh yeah,
he's done it again.
Yeah, done it again. But yeah, no, most definitely, mate. I watched him on Match of the Day last couple of months. He did get suspended a couple of weeks ago, didn't he, or something?
Yeah.
I don't know what game
so
that was.
Stupid.
But yeah.
Southampton away.
Yeah, oh my God, we were there, and honestly, I couldn't believe it. And the West Ham fans weren't even getting too annoyed. They started singing his name, and I'm like, oh my God, he just got sent off.
Yeah, no, he's a very good player, mate, and he will, as we've already alluded to, he will be integral to all your plans this season, keeping him fit, like Salah is for us. He's our most danger man really, but as we've talked about tonight, it's about getting that right balance in terms of the attacking play and the defensive play, and obviously in stages, attacking, you need service, especially how resolute Virgil van Dijk is. But Joel Matip has been our best defender this season, better than Virgil van Dijk. I don't think even Virgil van Dijk's up to full scratch in relation to the recent seasons he had pre his injury. But and Canate, the big lad, played against United. But whoever we do play at the back, as you said, set pieces for all sides in the Premier League are so important. And it's one thing really we haven't scored a lot of this year, set pieces, which has been disappointing. Which is a bit mad when you've got like
Van Dijk usually.
Yeah, Van Dijk and Joel Matip as well. It's crazy. Especially with Trent's delivery as well, but it's crazy, man. I
think that is as well. I think the most respite we're going to get tomorrow is Antonio's hold-up play, and if he can, we saw what he did to Romero a few weeks ago, and he actually laid him out on his backside. If he can be the Antonio bully that we know, even if he doesn't get on the score sheet, but he still holds the ball up, allows our attacking players, you just said there, Jack, slowing it down for us, and because we will need a bit of respite, because there will come a point where it will be wave after wave after wave, and if he can hold the ball up for us and he can bring others into play, I would say, other than getting a goal, that's the best version of Antonio that we could see tomorrow. Because if he doesn't, then unfortunately, it probably will be a long afternoon. But as strong as Matip and especially Van Dijk can be, I don't think there is another forward in the Premier League like Mikel Antonio. Yeah, so it will be an interesting battle.
Protein shakes he does.
Oh, God. Yeah. Mandy says, "Hi Joe, Steve Foster today he will break Salah's ankle if he gets a chance. Would you rather Salah has a quiet game and walks off unharmed?"
I think he'll do. I think he'll send him into retirement, Kufal, if he said those words. But he won't have a career, especially the form Salah's in, mate. Send him back.
I don't think he'd get a boot on him at the moment.
Needs to catch him first, mate.
Yeah.
But let's move on to the final part of the show. Predictions, Tom. Please don't predict a loss. Come on, you can't predict a loss. Tom, don't predict a loss. No West Ham fan predicts a loss on this channel.
No, that's the thing, isn't it? Every single week I'm going, we're going to maybe lose this one. I thought Villa was going to be a bogey game for us because if they were going to play two up top, it was going to cause problems for us. And look at that, we dispatched them 4-1. I don't... All right, fair enough. I was going to give a loss, but I was going to say 2-1 Liverpool, but just for you, I will say 2-2. I think it will be a cheeky Desmond. I think it will be tough. It will be very tough. But I think I'm confident in saying David Moyes, that is, has learnt from his mistakes last time. And if we do go in with it, with the not giving Liverpool credit and actually just playing the 11 men in front of us and not the name on the team sheet or the players on the team sheet, it could be a good game. I was going to say 2-1 Liverpool, but just for you, Jake, I'll go with a cheeky Desmond 2-2.
Yes, love it. I'll do my prediction, then we'll go to Jack. I've got to stick with my prediction. When you do preview shows throughout the week and people ask for your prediction, you've got to stick with it. And I've gone 1-1. To be honest, I can't see us winning this game, but I can see us drawing this quite easily. I think Salah will score, and I think he'll score quite early. But I can see us
in tomorrow.
So have I. And then I could see us just nicking Ben Ram a goal just before half time and it's staying 1-1. And that's if things go to plan. If Antonio's effective with holding up the ball, if we're solid at the back, if Creswell doesn't get absolutely slaughtered for 90 minutes. There's lots of ifs about it, but our puzzle seems to be taking place nicely every single week, and I hope it can again tomorrow. We showed it. We weren't at our best at Villa, but somehow we scored 4. We scored 2 pretty good goals from outside the box. We scored 2 tap-ins down our end, and what a day that was. But Jack, your prediction, what are you going for?
I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool, mate. It's going to be a very improved performance from West Ham, and expecting, as we've spoken about tonight. It's not going to be easy, and hopefully I'd even take a 1-0, mate, but I'll go with a 2-1. But it won't be easy, that's for sure.
Yeah. Foe has gone with his reverse psychology as always, 1-0 Liverpool. See, whenever Foe comes in the chat, we always seem to win. So, Foe hasn't been in a while, but we still win him.
Listen, he came because I was here today. That's what I can say.
Exactly.
The just Tom, the mutual respect.
So just Tom attracts people. It's what Tom does. Tom does what he wants.
What can I say? No. It's all those FIFA videos. They must love him.
Exactly. 2-1 West Ham. 2-1 to the Irons. Let's have a look here. Mandy's enjoying herself tonight. Hi, Jack. What did Burnley do to rattle your cage last week? And are you worried West Ham might look at that period of play?
They had a bit of bottle about them and actually got at us. Not a lot of teams do that. I know it's simple to do, but considering how good we are going forward, even as we alluded to, the Brentford game, Brentford threw the kitchen sink at it and threw men forward, and they actually scored some goals. The amount of times Liverpool come up against teams in the Premier League, don't know, we've got a plethora of world-class players, but that probably with one or two passes can open it up. But it's simple football, even Sunday League, just getting men in the box at the right time and causing teams problems.
That's the difference for us as well this season, is we can score goals and we can put 3 or 4 on our day. And I think that's the difference with the likes of Brighton this year, is instead of being the XG Kings last year and not having anything to show for it, they come up against those teams and say, right, we are playing against just the same 11 men on the pitch and not the name on the badge. And if you do have a go at Liverpool, who knows? You know, if Liverpool can score 3, I would argue this season we can score 3 or maybe even 4. We've shown that a few times this season that we can outscore opponents and not concede as well. So I'm right on it with you there, Jack. It's if we have a go at Liverpool, I think it should be an entertaining game. Like I said at the start, though, now we've bigged it up, it's probably going to be 0-0. But it should be
longest preview we've done for a while.
Hey, listen,
longest preview we've done for a while, and it always ends rubbish. But let's take a couple of final comments. We've got a solid defence. Like how we held off City in the Cup, I don't see them smashing us at all. And yeah, we did that with our second team. And yes, City had their second team out as well, but we held them off.
Second team with De Bruyne and everybody else,
probably more expensive than the whole of the teams in the league.
Yeah, probably. Zuma's pace has definitely made a difference. That's the point as well. We haven't talked about Fornals always scores against Liverpool. He loves a goal. He loves a goal against Liverpool. Pete is saying 3-2. We are massive. We certainly are everywhere we go. Right, final question. Jack, will come to you first. One key player tomorrow, and you can't say Mo Salah.
Trent, mate. Arguably, apart from Kevin De Bruyne, I don't think there's a player, possibly James Ward-Prowse, that's got a delivery, especially, and he's a right back. I know everyone likes to say he can't defend, but imagine telling Dani Alves to like do a Burnley and sit on the edge of his box. Prime Dani Alves, he's just not going to do that, is he? But yeah, Trent, mate, I think, as well as Tom alluded to, that right hand side, it's crazy. The amount of chances
can we do for one for each? Who? And you can't say Antonio. If we argue that he's our goal scorer, who would you fear most from West Ham side of things, other than Antonio?
Declan Rice, just for the sheer quality performances he's put in this season. Even in the Europa League highlights I've watched, he's took it to another level, and I was speaking to your West Ham lot as well. I think it was the day before, and even shouts to say he's probably the best midfielder in the Premier League era. And it's a big shout. Obviously, Michael Carrick played for you as well, but he's playing fantastic. He's world class. Well, he's got the potential to be up there if he does continue what he's been doing in recent weeks and months.
Yeah, I'm guessing there's an inside joke here, Tom.
Oh yeah, no, he's just mocking me about basketball is what he's doing. He's trying to anyway. Yeah, I think that's the thing for me. I'll give my 2 players and say, well, I think that's the thing for me is I hate it when pundits just keep saying, oh, he should go join a Liverpool. Oh, he should go join a Man United. Oh, he should go join a Man City. Why would he? When his trajectory is like that and he's learning as much as he is and he's captaining his side week in, week out, and he's getting to the places that we're currently in. We're in the top 4 as we speak. We are in Europe. Why would he leave that when he's growing as much as he is? Clearly, his sky is going like that. There is only one way he can go, but stay for a couple more years and see what happens. You know, I don't get the Declan Rice time to leave stuff.
I don't, mate, either. It's obviously it'll take a lot of money to prize him. Anyone prize him away from West Ham with your owners. But most importantly, how important he is to your squad. Like if someone signs Salah from us, it costs a lot of money. How integral, but it's the thing. He's got to stay at West Ham. Obviously, I think he joined you. Was it Chelsea's academy at like age of 14? But yeah, it's all these pundits. They've all got mates in Manchester and wherever. They're all best mates. Even Gary Neville.
Yeah.
all of them. But
sorry, he said McTominay was on Rice's level today, so I think that kind of just excuses him from the conversation.
You get paid for those opinions as well.
Always laughable. They look at it and say, "Oh, Fernandinho's leaving at the end of the season." Right? Let's see. Let's put out an article. Right, Declan Rice. There we go. He should come to Man City. Oh, just lay off it.
Exactly. It doesn't make sense to me. But as from my, I think our biggest key tomorrow, I think is. If I won't say Antonio just because he's our sort of front man, but I think I'm going to say Jarrod Bowen, just because I think if Liverpool's attention is drawn to Antonio, how close can he get? The thing is, I would say Declan Rice, but he does it to the point now every single week that I even get bored of saying Declan Rice because you know what performance he's going to put in. So I'm loath to say Rice because I think he'll just do what Rice does every week. But I think if Jarrod Bowen, obviously he's got a point to prove, not just for the fact that Southgate didn't include him in the squad, which I think he probably should have done this time, but also the fact that Jurgen Klopp's been talking so highly of him as well. I think if he can get close into Antonio and feed off of what Antonio potentially can give to him, then I think he will be our key man tomorrow. I think as for Liverpool as well, I think it's who do you go with? Which head of the Hydra do you want to go with? I'd probably say try and say Mane. I think maybe Ben Johnson. This is another test for Ben Johnson. You know, he's been sensational since he's been in there, but how's he going to deal with a world-class winger, you know, coming at him, especially Robertson as well? He's going to have his hands full down that right-hand side. So I think we've got to watch out. If all the attention is going to be on Salah tomorrow, potentially it'll be the likes of Mane, obviously with a couple of goals this week that will step up and could do business. So yeah, I think it's just one of a few players that I would fear, put it that way.
Yeah. I'd take the draw, says NWO. Creswell's delivery, yeah, it's key. It is. Every single week. Souček 2 set pieces, boom.
Is that own goal set pieces from Liverpool, or is that up the other end for us?
Don't even.
No, he's a good player as well. I think it was went to the first game he played for Hughes. I think did he come off injured at Anfield? But when he did play, I was like, he's a good player. Then do you know? I know Liverpool and maybe other fans that don't watch West Ham won't know how he's been this season, but he just looks very leggy and very tired. He has played so much football. He was so dependable. Keeps on going though, Tom. I know. With battered and bruised face and stitches and everything, he keeps going, but he had all that football in the summer and now he's come back and he's playing every single week here. I just fear that in midfield tomorrow he needs to be on his A game because other than potentially shut up, James, I'm not having that discussion. Other than Rice, I don't want Rice doing all the work for him. We saw Rice had to do all the work of Lanzini and Noble the other day, and he was outrun in that midfield in the first half. So, yeah, hopefully Souček can at least be back at his best for 90 minutes tomorrow because we're going to need him.
Yeah. Fo says, I think Benrahma and Bowen will have massive games tomorrow because they have got to do a huge lot of defending, but then bring it up the pitch as well. I know as soon as that came in, I thought, this is going to stop Affers right in his stride here.
I've had a busy week. It's not hiding. I've had a busy week.
Here we go, fresh trim, bang, there we go, butter it back up again. But anything else you two would like to discuss or say before we head?
Just a massive thank you, lads, for letting me come on, and I've fully enjoyed it. I know,
thank me. It's not.
It was good speaking to you, Tom. Anyway, it was always good to meet rival fans as well. Well, cheers, mate, for letting me come on, and obviously we'll speak to Jay in a little second, mate. But hopefully we've given it this big, massive preview, and hopefully it's a good game for both sides. Anyway, fingers crossed. There's a load of goals.
Exactly. We don't do previews this long, and then when we do 54-minute preview, then it's just going to be a boring game. But Tom, thank you very much for coming on.
Anytime, yeah. Apologies, I missed out on the other week when I was supposed to come on and I didn't. I've had a busy week, but no, it's nice. It's nice to get on. Obviously, I mean, I don't do a lot of Hammers chat anymore, but now and again, other than arguing with James on a Sunday night, with the American Hours guys. It is nice, especially when West Ham are winning, to come on and talk about football. So yeah, fingers crossed it's a good game tomorrow. Unfortunately, I've got a lot of family to support Liverpool, including a couple which will be in our season ticket seats because we can't get there. So don't go to block 236 because there will be my nan will be celebrating. Well, no, she won't be. She's on her best behaviour. But yeah, hopefully it's a good game.
If you want a if you want a ticket to the City, you can easily get an away ticket.
Oh.
It's crazy. Like, my mate's a City fan, and it's quite embarrassing how they advertise their European tickets. They can't even sell out. They deserve no success at all. At all.
Let's just hope. I think the best thing that could come out of tomorrow is if we don't lose any fingers. If we don't lose any fingers tomorrow, it's a win.
Clip sums it up perfectly. We've lost more fingers in Europe than we have games, and it is very true. But thank you very much to everybody in the chat for joining in. You can now go over. You've got 5 minutes. Go make yourself a drink and do whatever you want until James is live with Jack, talking all about the game at 9 o'clock over on E20 Zone TV. Thank you very much, everyone in the chat. Thank you very much, Jack and Tom. And yeah, we'll catch you in the next one from me and Tom. Tom, do you like doing that or not? Because some people don't.
Yeah, if you see me, I feel a bit weird whenever I do that. I don't know why. I know it's a thing. Of course, I know it's a thing, and I'll give it for you because we're on the channel, and I'll do that. But I don't like it that much. No.
All right, yeah. So that is Tom making a West Ham appearance. It's not 2 o'clock in the morning on American Hammers TV arguing with James. Jack, thank you very much, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Cheers, guys. Bye bye.